What up, players? It's Warboss Tampa this mud. This is how far we get today with this White Scars biker. We paint, shade, and highlight all the metallics, finish adding all the details like the silver, the bones, some red details to the backpack. We paint the face, we paint the hair, this little hair tie up here, the mustache, and all sorts of stuff that we haven't been paying attention to because we've been working on the white for so long. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and following along, and we'll see you in the next one. Alright, so that's right, this is getting back to the biker part of the White Scars biker tutorial, how to paint white. So we're gonna fill in some things that we haven't painted yet. Starting with lead belcher. We are going to paint the vents of the backpack. So I'm just getting rid of some excess lead belcher here. But these bottom vents of the backpack. Ooh. Focus, Igor, focus. Then we're going to take some lead belcher and we're going to paint them into the little exhaust grills up here. And this is, like I said, when I did my Chop Shop episode, this is a very special backpack. It's from the Space Wolves frame, so if you're doing a regular Space Marine backpack, you don't have to do these extra parts, I guess. We're going to paint a little bit of lead belcher onto the this plate here. And don't forget to paint the sides like that. And then finally we're going to do a little bit of lead belcher on the grenade hanging at his belt. I've seen these grenades, these frag grenades, done in black. I've seen them done in like green. I've seen them done in like silver metallic, so I'm gonna go with silver. We're also gonna paint this lead belcher silver paint onto the headset and eyepiece that our sergeant here is wearing. Okay, now we're gonna do some Baltazar gold on the aquila on the back of his backpack here. If you're using a regular Space Marine backpack, then you won't have this. But you could also use your Baltazar gold on other pieces of the model. It's just going to be used as a base coat. And we're going to take corn red and paint the little detailing on the backpack. It looks like ketchup. That it does. That it does. Yeah, sorry if it goes out of focus for just a second. I have to get the angles in. All right, so there is the reds. Now going on to paint the skin, we're going to use the little watered down version of the masterclass you see here for painting for Sorrow Khan. We are going to start with a mix of... They really want you to buy like as much paint as you can, I think. Because they say scorched brown and vomit brown. So we're going to use dryad bark, which is pretty close to what the old scorched brown was, and baler brown, or the vomit brown. So they say 1:1. I don't know about this. So if your guy doesn't have skin, if your White Scar biker doesn't have skin showing, like if you're using a helmet, then this step is easily skipped. Yeah, with these top knots, you just gotta make sure you paint all the way around. We'll let that dry. While we let that dry, we'll get on with the face, and with the hair on the face. It's going to be a mixture of Chaos Black or Abaddon Black and Codex Gray. So you just want to find a comparable gray to Codex Gray. What I like to use whenever something calls for Codex Gray, I like to use Dawnstone. So we'll mix that up 1:1. this onto the hair. Oh, looks like I need a little bit more. I think a new White Scars novel came out, or audio drama too. Can't remember what it was, if it was a novel or an audio drama. But the cover was really cool. You see pre-heresy or Horus Heresy era White Scars on their bikes, taking it to the orcs. Really great stuff. And I think I was reading their fluff too, that they were actually there, the White Scars were there at the siege of Terra. I think in the final battles of the Horus Heresy, they were there helping to defend Earth. Suspiciously absent were the Ultramarines, who made the Codex Astartes, because they were still gathering the forces and flying down through the warp. But I think the story is that the White Scars, the Imperial Fists, and the Blood Angels were there in those final days. Was anybody else there? I don't remember. I think it's like pretty much everybody's hope that the Black Library finishes the Horus Heresy by getting to the siege of Terra, you know? Finding out what happened in those last few battles. Uh-oh. Oh no. Got a little black on the shoulder pad. We're at this point in the white, how to paint white, where if you make a mistake, you can just go back with a little spot of ceramide white and just touch it up. Touch it up. Snap into a Slim Jim! Alright, so the face, 1 part Space Wolves Gray was added to 3 parts of the previous mix. Alright, so to this ridiculous Baylor Brown and Dryad Flesh 1-to-1 mix, we're going to scoop it up to 3 parts. So I guess just add a little bit more to your wet palette, right? Add a little bit more Baylor Brown. Add a little bit more Scorched Brown or Dryad Bark. And then we're going to add some Space Wolves Gray or Celestra Gray, which is a nice thick base color. Make sure you wash off your brush as soon as you're done mixing. And we are going to apply this color to all the raised areas. Looks so dark. In the book it looks a lot lighter. But then I am using the newer colors. And we're adding a little bit more celestra gray in the next step. And we are applying this just as we did the step before. I think at this point I'm probably going to take a couple liberties with the color scheme. Because this guy does not look at all like the pictures. So, this eyepiece is bugging me. I'm going to paint a little lead belcher over it. Okay, so watered down, applied over 3 coats. So we're going to take a watered down mix now of oh my goodness, this is crazy. Regal blue, Cantor blue. So we're going to take a watered down mix of scorched brown, vomit brown, and regal blue. I think I'm going to change my vomit brown stand-in. I was using Baylor brown, but I think instead I'm going to use something a little bit more fleshy. So we use Dryad Bark. For Regal Blue, we're going to use Cantor Blue, and we'll substitute Ungor Flesh for the Baylor Brown. You want one part Dryad Bark and Ungor Flesh, and 2 parts Cantor Blue. And the White Dwarf says we just water down this mix and then we add it over what we already have. Oh, our poor guy here, he looks very, I don't know, he looks very, he looks kind of seasick. Looks quite like greenish. I feel like as you mix more things together, they just end up looking like brown. you mix too much colors together, it all ends up just looking brown. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Okay, this has gone horribly wrong. We must alter our flight plan. Cadian flesh tone to the rescue. He looks like he's so seasick. It's because he rides his motorcycle too much. Look at how green his face is. So give you a little lift, my friend. I'm kind of mixing it into the last color tone that we created, so it's not completely, you know, Cadian flesh tone. We're gonna build up a healthy, non-seasick color over my name ain't War Boss Tay. Yeah, so here's layer 1. That looks much better. We'll do layer 2 and layer 3 when we get back. I did it. I figured out how to make it not look as bad. So what you're gonna need is Cadian flesh tone and Ungor flesh. The Ungor flesh is gonna give it a little yellow, pale yellowish kind of skin tone, which as a basis is, as a base coat, or going over that nasty brown skin tone, looks pretty decent, I think. So it says, oh my gosh, yeah, it says to use this weird mix of scorch brown, vomit brown, and regal blue as a wash. I'm gonna try doing something else. I'm gonna try breaking away from the from the White Dwarf and just doing a regular old Raglan flesh shade. Yeah, I think this looks fine. So there you go. Perfect. And the Ungor flesh is going to give it a little bit of that, I don't want to be racist, Asian flesh tone that's not as warm as the pinker Caucasian of the Cadian flesh tone. Okay, now we are going to take some Dark Reaper, and this is going to be the color of the hair tie. If you're not using a hair tie, then feel free to skip this step. Shh. You shh. 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 Shh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that annoying?
Nope.
Okay. Oh, what happened?
Okay, so there we go. So the blue is like almost like a spot color. That really dark bluish color. Next we're going to take our Averland Sunset and paint in the yellows of the headlight. And don't worry if you get any on the silver bands. We can always fix those later. Just mainly focus on getting the yellow paint on where the light would be shining from for now. Shh. 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 Okay, and next we are going to paint the gold with, we're going to find, if you can get it, Gehenna's gold. Let's see if I can find it. Ta-da! Gehenna's gold. It's the spiritual successor to shining gold. Oh my goodness. So we're going to paint all of the gold areas, starting with the aquila. So you see what I mean about Baltazar gold being a really great base color for any bronze, copper, brass, and in this case, gold. The thing with painting gold, any kind of metallics, but what I found with gold to be a problem more than silver is that you don't want it to be too thick on the brush. You want just enough to kind of get the pigment on, because the pigment of gold especially is so bright and it pops so much, so well, especially if you're using Gehenna's gold, which has a very almost like yellowish reddish tinge to it. Covers really quite nicely. You see how nice and shiny it is. It picks up the light really well. Okay, then we're gonna wash it with Seraphim sepia. It should have dried by the time you're done. It should have dried really nicely. So we're gonna take our Seraphim sepia now, and we're just going to lightly apply it over and we're going to take Nuln oil, paint this sucker on the backpack. On the little headpiece, on the grenade, on the rope, and on the bolters. A little bit of it on the headlight too as well. just trying to line it in the red and the yellow areas that we painted on the headlight, just so that we can see a little bit of, you know, lining, black lining, without having to go in and actually individually paint each of the lines. It's a great effect that you can do really easily with just a little bit of that black wash on the tip of your brush. It's a good tip to learn. Okay, by now the gold, the griffin, or the seraphim sepia on the gold should be done. So we're going to paint it with, we're going to paint some really fine highlights with Ulrich Armor Gold. So when I'm doing metallics or anything on this aquila sign, what I found is a really good effect to paint the edges, the tips of the wings of the aquila. So look how nicely that shades the gold. Okay, we're going to take a break from that, and we are going to paint some Agrax Earthshade into anything with bone, like the skull hanging from the front here. So any of your bone pieces. As well as this piece on the back of the backpack. Right there. And finally, the leather holster for the knife right at the front. Okay, we're also going to take our Agrax Earthshade. Now we're going to apply it to the metal, because these bikes are not as pristine as they used to be. These white scars drive them around all over the place, doing donuts in the Bay of the Thunderhawk and stuff like that. So we're just painting some streaks of oil and all that stuff on the metal parts, the parts that we painted silver. Oh no. And if you get any on the white plates, then try not to, of course, but if you get any on the white plates, then you can easily just blend it in to the plate, make like it's a shadow, or just repaint over it with ceramide white. You just want to be careful, because with the shade paints, It's really easy to get that paint color all over the place. Okay, and the wheels, of course. Yeah, so basically all the silver is going to get a touch of this. And finally, with a really firm, steady hand, as steady as you can make it, we're going to paint all of the silver trim. Okay. Okay, in this next section we're actually going to take a dry brush paint. That is Golden Griffin. We're going to give it a try. So I've got my dry brush here from Games Workshop. It's a little bit of a thicker, shorter bristles. You're going to take just a tiny little bit of the dry brush paint and you're going to wipe off just about all of it onto your napkin, onto your work area, surface, anything like that, so that you just have a very little smattering of it so that it just barely comes off the brush. And then you're just going to paint that gold compound onto all the gold areas, and you see how it kind of picks up the light and looks really good as a highlight. Do it here to the chest aquila now. And after that, we take our, we're going to try a different one, Necron compound, and this is silver, so we're going to get the dry brush paint onto our dry brush, wipe off like 90% of it. And we're going to dry brush this onto the silver areas. Most notably the exhaust pipes here. Top of the backpack grill. And yeah. And that is it. So the dry compounds for the metals, metallics, they work pretty well, I think. You could just do it without a dry brush. You could use a regular paint, but I kind of like the dry brush effect. So for the gold now, the gold on the aquila, we're gonna go one step further. Paint auric armor gold. I think I did this out of order. I actually think the dry brush is the last thing you're supposed to do, but it's okay. There, so we get a nice shiny gold look. And this is where we are going to cut it for today. So we did a lot of washes, some highlights with dry brushing. We put all the base coats down for our model. When we come back, we're going to finish painting up the skin, doing some highlights there for the face. We're going to do some more highlighting, like highlighting the reds, the bones. Hopefully the white will be done, because the white is only one more step we have to just build up. the last bits, highlights of white, and then we can start with the really fine shading of the whites, and maybe even do some battle damage. So, boy, this project White Scars is taking a lot longer to get through. The Iron Warriors was pretty fast compared to this, but hope you guys are all enjoying following along with this guide, painting at home, your own projects, or even painting along if you have a White Scars biker of your own to paint, or anything that requires lots of white paint to get through. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.